Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Stitching and Sound and my name is Dale. No, I'm just kidding. My name is Kyle and this is a channel about cross stitch. Why did I say my name is Dale? Well, I'll get to that. Welcome to my post-StitchCon video. I did not plan on recording this today. It's the 4th of July. Happy Independence Day, everybody. I'm just waiting for Will Smith to save us, you know. Anywho. But I have the house to myself for a while. So I figured I either record it now or I wait until next week when everybody's gone from the house. But I don't want to wait a week because I'm going to forget a lot of things. And I didn't take notes, so we're going to be going off the cuff today. I'm going to go as long as I can. Just waiting to see if the battery dies or if my phone runs out of memory. Today's video is brought to you by White Claw Mango. This was not a sponsored video. I just really wanted alcohol. Alright, I'm going to try my best to not swear in this video because one of the lovely people I met at StitchCon, hi Brenda, you know, love her dearly, but she doesn't like this, she doesn't do the swearing, I get it, so I'm gonna do my best, and if I feel a swear coming on, Brenda, I'll let you know. That's Brenda, Handwork Maniac, for people who don't know. So, I didn't take notes because this was very last minute. I'm going to try my best to remember everything, and if I backtrack, that's going to happen. Now, if I title the video the way I think I'm going to title, you'll notice that I say something, there's something in the title about there being a very huge surprise in this video. That reveal will be towards the end of the video, so if you want to know what the huge surprise is, go to the end of the video now. Welcome back. Didn't you like that? Well, for those who didn't hop forward, we're going to just continue on with the video. Okay. So, I am not going to do what a lot of other Flosstubers have already done, which is show all of the stuff that was given to us when we registered at check-in at noon on Thursday. I will show you what I got from the freebie table, what I got from the annex, what I got from Keepsakes, and all of the fun events that had happened during that week. So, buckle up, because it gets fun, and then it gets very depressing. Okay, but then it gets alright again. Okay, so, I wake up. No. This is Tuesday. Tuesday, June 24th. This would have been? Wait, hold on. As you can tell, I'm in a new location. Not really, I'm just at a different spot in my room. What day was last Tuesday? 25th. Okay, I'm at my computer. So, the following day is when I fly out to Cincinnati. Fly out to Ohio for StitchCon. I am pumped with all sorts of anxiety and fun feelings. Excuse me. It's the beer talking. This is like my 8th one. Pumped with all sorts of anxiety. And then my anxiety goes from good anxiety to bad anxiety because I am really worried about TSA. So I spend the next couple of hours, literally the next couple of hours, figuring out what cannot go through TSA. So I'm freaking out. Tuesday night turns into very early Wednesday morning, and my flight leaves at, what time was it? 5:15? That has to be right. 5:15? 6. It was 6 in the morning. It's 1 in the morning by this point, before I finally get into bed. I get into bed. Anxiety is high. I finally fall asleep. I wake up at 3 in the morning, aka 2 hours later. I'm like, oh no. Because I had my alarm set for 3 o'clock because I was getting picked up at 4 to be at the airport at a quarter to 5 so I could fly out at 6. I was flying out of Cedar Rapids, which is a smaller airport, so I didn't have to worry about too much hustle and bustle. Although, it ended up being a lot busier in that airport than I thought it would be. Anywho, that didn't... Besides that. All the nerves are working. I'm feeling all the feelings. Excitement, terror, what's gonna happen? My first time flying. Oh no, am I gonna meet somebody famous on the airplane? I didn't. But I take solace in knowing that my first flight out to Chicago, because my layover was in Chicago, I'm on one of the smaller planes where I don't have to sit next to anybody. I chose my seats. I'm on the one seat, the one aisle on that smaller plane. I got that one seat. So, my friend drops me off. We say our goodbyes. I'm getting all flustered and stuff. I'm in line waiting to go through TSA and get up to TSA and it's nerve-wracking. The sweating that happened was just I couldn't. And I'm freaking out, I had to take my belt off, and the reason I wear a belt is because my panties fall down. And, so I'm kind of nervous about having my belt off and stuff. Anyway, goes without a hitch. I'm fine. I find my gate, and I wait. I popped about 4 Dramamine, because I don't know what's going to happen. Am I going to get really nauseous on the plane? I don't want to take chances. So... finally, they call up, flight whatever, group whatever, come on board, get on the plane. I'm kind of nervous. Then the flight takes off. And it all becomes okay. Anxiety is gone. And just for future reference, I have 0 anxiety on the rest of my planes. Kind of. More on that later. And the flight was fine. We landed in Chicago. I had about an hour layover. Luckily, my gate was right next to the gate where I came out of. So I didn't have to travel very far. I, wait for my flight. Flight takes off. Microsoft update on my computer. And... so the flight from Chicago to Cincinnati, Kentucky Airport was just beautiful. No anxiety. And this at the time was the only, because I had chosen the seats on all of my flights, and this was the only one at the time where I had to sit next to somebody on the flight. And to be honest, the only anxiety I had going into my second flight was, oh God, who am I sitting next to? And the sigh of relief that just expelled from my, throat area when I found out the person I was sitting next to was normal. They weren't messy, she was a lovely businesswoman and just sociable. She was normal. And for future reference, all of the people that I ended up sitting next to were normal. And you're saying, wait, you just said you had all the small... We're getting there. And so we land in CVG Airport, and I am greeted by... Well, not greeted by... I actually landed earlier than I thought because I just didn't account for time zone changes. And I meet Rika King in the House of Stitch and Stash. She picks me up. She's got a rental. We meet up with each other. I'm freaking excited. So I am very tired at this point. Very tired. Okay, so Rika and I go off. We go to where she needs to pick up her rental car. Awesome. And she sets the GPS for Keepsakes, and we're off. We're off like a bullet or out of a gun or something. That was a bad analogy. That was dumb. Anyway, we're off. We're going. We're ready for Keepsakes, and I know going that I'm not gonna see. I'm not going to see Pam and Steph there. I'm not going to see Barbara. I'm not going to see, whomever. Because I already know they're at the Sharonville Center, convention center, doing stuff to set up for StitchCon for the following day. Okay. So, the ride's about 40 minutes. And I'm just going to backtrack real quick to my hashtag Operation Meet 399. Leslie LaFleur from Under the Sea Fabrics. When I first announced that idea, she commented saying that I'm going to make it so difficult for you to find me that I will be one of the last people you talk to. I'm like, oh, okay, well, all right. Fast forward to Wednesday afternoon when we arrive at Keepsakes, Rika and I, not including Rika, because I knew I was seeing her. Rika and I walk into Keepsakes, and who do I see but Leslie LaFleur from Under the Sea Fabrics? And I am just internally laughing so hard that my internal sides are in stitches. I just found it so funny that she was determined to make it hard for me to find her, when in actuality she was literally the first person I saw, not including Rika. So I'm just laughing. So we're there for a little bit. I don't pick anything up. It's dead in Keepsakes. It's me, Rika, Leslie LaFleur, her friend Carrie, and at the time, I didn't realize Mitch Stitch was in there. Michelle Mitch Stitch. Didn't realize she was in there at the time. Although I did see another person in there, I just didn't see her. Anywho, I'm gonna get very burpy because this is, like I said, my 8th beer. So then after all is said and done, Leslie asks us to go to Skyline Chili, which I guess is a big thing in Ohio. And there's like 5 of them in that area, so Rika and I end up going to the wrong one first, but we eventually find them. And, yeah, Skyline Chili was different. I don't want to say it was gross, but I will say that it did destroy my insides for like the next 5 hours. Anywho, keep in mind, I'm running on almost no sleep. And I'm like, we should probably run to Target. So Rika and I run to Target because it's not time for me to check in yet. It's only like 1:30. And, I go to Target, pick up some stuff. Finally, it gets around 3 o'clock, and Rika drops me off at the Live-In Hotel. And I walk in to check in, and, after I check in, I'm greeted by another stitcher named Brenda. She says, hey, me and a couple of others are up there stitching. We'd like you to come visit if you could. And I felt bad at the time. I'm just like, I'm sorry, but I really need to go. I really need to go lie down because I am just dead right now. I am just so tired. And I felt bad, but it all worked out fine in the end, because I ended up stitching with them for most of the nights during StitchCon. So I had previous plans to meet up with Jan Hicks and a couple of others to go to dinner that night. I was supposed to meet them in the lobby, I think around 5:45, I don't remember. So I don't nap, I just lay in bed for about 2 hours. I'm just laying there, I doze off for maybe 20 minutes. Anywho, so Jan Hicks hasn't arrived yet. I go over to the Hyatt, and I see stitchers I had not expected to see. The main one being Debbie Bernheisel from Snug Harbor Crafts. I had to do like a quadruple take because I thought she wasn't arriving until that Thursday. I thought she was going to arrive on the day, StitchCon started. So when I saw her, I thought, like, she didn't notice me, but I didn't sneak up on her and scare her, but I snuck up on her. And, when we notice each other, it's just, I will never forget the first time I met Debbie Bernheisel. I love Debbie. And she was the first person I had a good conversation with for that whole trip, you know. Not including Rika, because I've been in the car with her for, you know, what, 3 hours, 4 hours by this point? I don't know. Anyway. But other people that were in the lobby that I met for the first time in the Hyatt lobby, besides Debbie Bernheisel, we had Dina from Half Stitch Cross Stitch. We had McKenna, Stitching in Sequins. McKenna, you know her, you love her. If you don't know her, don't love her. Get to know her, get to love her. She's not going anywhere. Nobody asked her to, and thank God. Okay. Abby, Top Knot Stitcher, was in there, and Michelle Mitch Stitch was in there, and Jen from Delicious Threads, Arlene Cohen. I'm freaking out by this point because I love everybody that I'm seeing. Who else am I forgetting? There's someone else I'm forgetting, and I don't know who it is. There's more people in that lobby. I'll think of it later. Oh, and then Ryan from Wild Violet Designs, Wild Violet Cross Stitch Designs, Wild Violet. If I remember, I'll link Ryan below. She was a hoot to meet. And unfortunately, I don't know where her needle minder is. There's a lot of stuff I'm going to be forgetting. Just heads up. So I'm in the lot, you know, we're waiting for Jan Hicks. I mean, I'm not eating dinner with any of these people. I'm just waiting for Jan Hicks to show up. Then Jan Hicks shows up, and I just freak out. And so we go to dinner, all that stuff. And this is when stuff starts to get blurry because days just sort of form into each other. After dinner that night, I honestly don't know what happened next. I don't remember if I went to the Hyatt. No, was dropped off at the live-in. And so, who did I go to dinner with? I went to dinner with Jan Hicks. Lovely Dawn. Joanne was there. Michelle, not Mitch Stitch, another Michelle. Don't want to say her last name because I didn't ask for permission. Marion, the librarian. Oh, no, I loved her. Her and I talked a lot over StitchCon. Barb. No, I can't say Barb's name that way because the other Barb is someone else. So Barb. Rika was there, and I don't remember who else. Anyway, at dinner, get dropped off to live-in, and I noticed that the stitchers that had, or the one stitcher that had greeted me earlier was up there. And I go up there, and you know, her name's Brenda, and she's stitching with someone named Beth, and I'm like, you know, I'll just go back to my room and get my stitching, and I'll come back. And I leave, I get my stitching, I come back, and then another person shows up, and it ends up being Brenda, Handwork Maniac, and it did not click with me at first who it was. Did not click, and then they started getting on the subject of her coming in a week early to meet some friends. I'm like, Brenda! Ugh. So yeah. So we stitch for a while, and then the following day happens. I wake up, I get all ready, emotions are happening, and head over to the Hyatt lobby, I think around 10-ish. Ow. And I just go around meeting people. That afternoon, that's when I met Leanne and Barb from Lost and Floss. That's why I had to differentiate the pronunciations of Barb, because Barb is from Lost and Floss. They interview me, whatever. I sit down with, you know, McKenna and I think Arlene was there, Abby, and then Michelle Mitch Stitch, and she thought my name was Dale. This whole time, she thought my name was Dale, and, you know, it's not Dale. But I didn't blame her. She's like, I don't have a lot of time to watch Flosstube like ever, and I get it. You know, not everybody can know who you are. So yeah, then at some point Lindy Stitches shows up, Stephanie Webb, I freaking die. Once again, don't make the connection at first, because I'm thinking Stephanie Webb and Lindy Stitches are two different people. They're not. I'm dumb. But, let's see, who else? And then I meet Deb Yoakum, from the editor of Permanent, you know. She's the editor of a wonderful magazine that we all know. And let's see, who else? I'm meeting a lot of people, I think. I don't know. Like I said, Blur is happening because StitchCon's about happening. I have not whipped out my autograph book yet because I'm waiting for noon on the dot to start having people sign. And, you know, I'm just sitting around chatting with people. I stitch for a little bit, you know, just waiting for us to start lining up. And then we start lining up for check-in. And I'm getting anticipated. I'm standing next in line. Stephanie Webb, Jan Hicks is behind me a little bit. Debbie Bernheisel's way up. No, Debbie Bernheisel's way back there. Somebody's in front of us. Anywho. And, you know, the emotions are happening. The line gets moving. I'm very different from everybody else. Everybody else seems to be like, be done with StitchCon by this point. We're 20 minutes in. I'm telling you a story. So, yeah, and then we go up. Everybody has seen the moment when I finally meet Stephanie. That was like a monumental moment, not just for me, but I assume for her as well. That is a moment that I wish I could relive over and over again. And luckily I can, because God bless Jan Hicks, because she captured that moment on video. And so, you know, it's moments like those that you look back on and it's like, wow, that kind of moment won't happen again with this person. I mean, every time we see this person again, we'll still have that same, you know, sort of, ooh, I haven't seen you in 5 ever. But, like, there's never going to be that first time again when you meet somebody you've been talking to for... Anyway, that's me blabbering. And StitchCon happens. I sit at a table with Stephanie Webb, Rika, Michelle Mitch Stitch, and then later to show up that day was Shauna and Donna from Stitchin' and Doodah. Very excited about that. And we're next to, you know, like McKenna and Arlene and Abby and Jen and so on and so forth. And then Andrea, the Stitchy Bookworm, was at that table as well as Ryan. I think I got everybody that I sat with. Anywho, so this is where stuff gets blurry. I don't remember what happens next. I have to assume that I go around with my book. I know for a fact that Pam and Steph are the first names in my book. But all the stitching happens, all of the fun happens. Donna Ray, I got to meet... Donna Ray. I was very excited to meet everybody. Donna Ray's got like her own special aura. She's got like the Donna Ray aura. And, you know, I expected her to be like at least 3 inches taller than me, when in fact she's about 1.5 feet shorter than I am. And that's just because she exudes this tallness about her. I don't know. Anywho. So I leave for a little bit with McKenna and Arlene and Jen and, you know, all those people. We go to get Chipotle. And then I get a text from Linda Green, Blue Horse Yellow Cow, asking me where I am. And I'm like, I went to go out to get some lunch. And, you know, she's like, oh, I'm here. I'm like, okay. And when I arrive back, I have to talk to Stephanie again, because there's this whole line of people that behind me that first time. I couldn't just stop to talk to Stephanie. So I had to stop and talk to Stephanie and Pam a little bit. And then, out of nowhere, Linda Green pops out from the doorway, and I freak out because, you know, I've been talking to Linda for a long, long while, and I was overly excited when I saw her. So her and I got to hang out the next day, and so anyway, so after that, I think just stitching happens. The opening ceremony happens. Was the preview of the annex that night? I don't remember. I set my stuff up on the brag table. I'll show you my Hannah Sanderson finish at the end of the video if I have enough time. Okay, we're going on a half an hour. Everybody's videos are much shorter than mine. Anyway, so Thursday happens. I get at the convention center 8 o'clock in the morning on no, not on Thursday, Friday. 8 o'clock in the morning on Friday. I put my first stitches in at 5:30. I spend the first couple of hours taking some videos and stuff. You know, I videoed the brag table, which hopefully will be at the end of this video. And then I'm just a social butterfly. I want to talk to everybody. I want to talk to and everybody wants to talk to me. Well, not everybody. And then I make a beeline for my table. I'm like, okay, whoever stops me to sign my book, fine. But I make a beeline to my table. And then I get as far as pulling out my stitching. When I'm like, I should go look at the freebie table. So I go look at the freebie table with Andrea, the Stitchy Bookworm. And then that's when Stephanie comes on the microphone saying, hey, there is a lady in the middle of the room that would like to get a group of people to go to Five Guys. If anybody's interested, go find her. And I'm sitting in the middle of the room, so I have a good idea of who this might be. And of course, it's Lovely Beth, who is part of the Live-In Stitching group. I like to call them anyway. And so we go to eat lunch at Five Guys. Never had Five Guys before. That was really good. And if you hear like exploding in the background, fireworks everywhere. And so when we're at Five Guys, I get a text from Linda saying, hey, would you like to come with me and Donna Ray to a brewery later? I'm like, okay, cool. In my mind, thinking later is like 7 o'clock. We get back from lunch at about 1:45, and we leave for the brewery 10 minutes later. So, it's me, Donna Ray, Tom, Mr. Flannel Jammy's Farm, and then Jen Lee and her mom, Cindy, were with us as well, and I was so excited to meet those two. So we're there, everybody has lunch except me because I already ate, but I have a flight of just different kinds of beer, and it's just, And then I'm thinking we're going back to the convention center after that, which ended up not happening. We went to Keepsakes instead, which I'm okay with, but oh my god, Ohio was hot that week. Oh my heavens. And standing in Keepsakes, now they have air conditioning. The vent is about this big, and that's the only place where you can feel cool air is if you're standing right on top of that vent. Oh boy, howdy, we're in there for a bit. And I did pick up some stuff from Keepsakes that day, but that was the only day that I picked up anything from Keepsakes. So we finally get back to the convention center at about 5. I sit down at my table and I put in my first stitches at 5:30. I put in maybe 10 stitches. And that's when Fancy Friday happens, everybody's coming down. Hold on, hold on, sorry. Okay. I just thought of something that I got to remember to mention later. So then about 7 o'clock, me, Linda, Donna Ray, Mr. Flannel Jammies, Linda's husband, and then we're also meeting Jen Lee and Cindy there. Cindy's Jen Lee's mom at Dogberry. We went to Mount Carmel earlier in the afternoon. Dogberry was the place we went to that night. And it was bring your own food night. So we all got food DoorDashed to us, and then Leslie LaFleur and Carrie joined us at a later time that night, and it was just a really good night. And it's like, I spent no time in the stitching room that day, but it's like, if you have the opportunity to go drinking with Donna Ray, are you going to be dumb enough to turn that down? No, you're going to be smart and go. Duh. So that was Friday. Saturday happens. And Saturday, like, I don't know if anybody else is like this, but I'm used to events like this being only 3 days. So all day Saturday, I'm just like, you know that coming down feeling you have when, like a trip ends? Like, that's what I'm feeling like, because in my mind, events like this only happen 3 days. So my body thinks this is the last day of StitchCon, which it's not. And, what happened Saturday? I didn't participate in any of the gift exchanges. Saturday. I I did not leave the convention center Saturday. I think I left later that night with Stephanie, or was that Thursday night? This is what happens when I don't take notes. Saturday. I don't remember what happened Saturday. Saturday was a lot of socializing. I did not leave the stitching room Saturday. Stephanie, did we go to Cane's Chicken Fingers Saturday night, or was that Thursday night when we went? I don't remember. Stephanie, let me know. So Saturday, just spent I didn't stitch all day. Still getting signatures. And then Saturday night, I finally go to the live-in, or not the live-in, the La Quinta for late night stitching, which was good. It's that, it's earlier that day when I realized I didn't really I haven't really had a good conversation with Pam or Steph yet. And luckily, that late night stitching at the La Quinta, I had a good long conversation with Stephanie. That was, I was really hoping for that. Gosh, that sounds a lot, because like so much happened. And I was just spending a lot of the time trying to, talk to people, trying to meet new people. And then it's like at the end, I'm just like, I wish I could have spent more time with some of these people. I really wish I could have spent more time talking with Jan Hicks and Linda and Debbie Bernheisel. I really wish I would have talked more with. Sunday, I had a good conversation with Colette Kingsley, Highway Stitcher. She was there. She was part of our little late night live-in group. Love talking with her. I had a really good talk with Brenda, Handwork Maniac. We were just in the middle of the stitching room talking about just whatever. I made it a point that when Saturday and Sunday, whenever I saw Brenda, I just had to tell her hi because, gosh, she was just a joy to meet. And I believe she's not a Flosstuber, but I believe retreat goers will recognize the name Marcy. I didn't ask her if I could use her last name, so I'm not going to out of respect to her, but oh my gosh, love Marcy. Let's see, who I met. Kia B was there, Nathan. I'm gonna forget, I gotta stop naming people, otherwise I'm gonna forget. They're another group of people that I wish I would have talked to longer. I had a good conversation with McKenna Saturday night. Yeah, there were just so many people that I wish I could have had a good sit-down conversation with. But I couldn't because 400 people, there's a lot of things to get to. So then Sunday happens. My flight's supposed to leave at 8:30 that night. This is when the fun starts. And then I will show you all of my stuff. Sunday afternoon, someone approaches me who I've talked to prior. Don't remember who it is, I'm sorry. Approaches me and saying, "Hey Kyle, when did you say your flight leaves?" I said 8:30. Why? And she's like, "Okay, my flight from CVG to Chicago was supposed to leave at 7:30 and it got canceled." All of a sudden, the sweats start happening because it's like my first time flying experience. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So I have to quickly go on. And I've got like no signal for some reason that day, and I'm glad other people had that same experience because I'm like thinking, is my phone just going to crap? I was able to get it rescheduled. Oh my gosh. Jen Upton, sorry if didn't mention you earlier, met Jen Upton a couple of days prior. Saturday, I had dinner with Jen Upton, Candy Stitches, and Jen's friend Carrie. And then dinner with Lindy was at Cane's was at Thursday night. Okay. See, this is what happens when you put stuff together. See, Jen, I'm glad I remembered you. Jen knows I love her. She knows I'm just Jen Upton. She knows I love her. I'm just messing with her. And so I'm freaking out. So I look at what flights I can choose from. And there's one that leaves at 5 o'clock. It is 2 o'clock, approaching 2:30. So if I want to make this flight, I need to leave, like, now. So unfortunately, I had to hurriedly tell everybody goodbye. I mean, I'm like, Candy was taking me to the airport. I'm like, okay, this is what's happening. And she's like, fine, cool. And yeah, the one thing that I always look back, from that weekend that really just pains me is that I didn't really get to tell everybody goodbye. I didn't tell everybody goodbye. But the people that I did tell goodbye, it was just so rushed. And I was not able to tell Linda goodbye. She was not in the stitching room at the time. I had met Debbie Bernheisel in passing, and before I got my flight changed, and so I didn't truly tell her goodbye. That pains me. My goodbyes to McKenna and that whole group was very rushed, and it's just like, felt so terrible about it, because I know there's nothing I could have done, but because I had left so quickly, StitchCon sort of was going like this, and then just sort of went, like, there was no come down from this high. It was just like, here I am having a great time, and then boom, bye. It was weird. I know I will have time again to tell, to see them all again and give them the proper goodbye that they deserve. It was really, I don't know. I felt like, I just felt bad because I didn't tell everybody goodbye the way I had envisioned telling everybody goodbye. So this is when the fun starts. I get to CVG. My flight that night was supposed to be from CVG to Chicago to Cedar Rapids. Well, I had to, obviously reschedule, so my flight instead went from CVG to Charlotte, North Carolina to Cedar Rapids. Flight from CVG to North Carolina is fine. I have to sit next to somebody, but they're normal. Do I even remember who I sat next to? Yes, I do. Because of this sudden change in flights, I am now on a flight to North Carolina, and who should I see coming on this plane but Kate, Madam Ice, whom I just adore, and Susan. Susan, I didn't ask you for your last name, so I'm just going to call you Susan. And I'm like, oh my god, I know people. People on this flight I know. And they're sitting right behind me. I'm like, oh, thank God. So the flight from the Cincinnati, Kentucky airport to Charlotte, North Carolina was great. And then I got about 2 hours to kill until my flight from Charlotte to Cedar Falls happens. And so Kate, Susan, and I, we go have a drink or two and just, pass the time. And then it's time for them to take me to my gate. And we're at my gate, and all of a sudden I hear Kyle Reckemeyer, and I look up, and if anything would make me believe that there is a God, looking back on it, it's this, because I look up expecting to see somebody that was from StitchCon there, but I look up and it's somebody I went to high school with. And not just somebody I went to high school with, but like, I would have considered him my best friend at the time. I haven't seen him in 5 years, and all of a sudden, we're on the same flight from North Carolina back to Iowa. And it's just like, whoa. And not only that, but about a half an hour later, we notice that somebody else we went to school with is also going to be on this flight. And it's like, whoa. So that was mind-blowing to me. So, flight's supposed to leave from North Carolina, I think about 8:30-ish. Well, we get delayed. because of weather. And we keep getting delayed. And delayed again. And delayed again. And I'm freaking out because this is my first time flying. What the heck am I gonna do if my flight gets canceled? I'm freaking out. So it gets to be, okay, the plane is there at the terminal. The reason we're delayed is because we are waiting for the flight crew. Finally, after 3.5 hours of delays, the flight crew shows up, and we give them a round of applause, because God bless them. It's like midnight something at this point. We get on the plane, and the plane starts taking off. The flight attendants do their spiel, and we notice that we're not really going anywhere. We're just sort of cruising. And then we notice we're not going down the runway. We return back to the gate. And we're like, what is happening? I'm freaking out. Suddenly we see 2 airport security officers come on the flight and detain a woman because she is highly intoxicated. And I remembered this woman from a couple of hours before because she was stumbling in the airport lobby and she knocked over a giant lamp earlier that evening. And so we're thinking, okay, thank God, she's off the flight, we can get going. Then the pilot comes on. He's like, ladies and gentlemen, hate to inform you, but due to me maxing out my hours, I legally cannot fly this plane. I'm like, great. Because in my mind, I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And so he said, I'm gonna try to find a pilot to man this plane, but the odds of me finding one at this time of morning is just almost slim. And sure enough, flight gets canceled. So thank God my friend from high school was there, because had he not been there, I might have just had a mental breakdown because I wouldn't know what to do. There was a moment when we considered getting a rental car and actually driving the 14 hours back to Iowa. We didn't do that because eventually, I was able to get my flight rescheduled for 5:15 the next morning. It's like 1:30 in the morning at this point. I'm like, I'm gonna stay in the airport. So I got to experience attempting to sleep in the airport. I dozed off for 10 minutes here or there, but essentially by the time we were boarding the plane at 5 that morning, I'm just I had no sleep. And I notice my ticket says I'm in seat B, and so when I walk on the plane, I notice that there's rows of 3 seats on either side of the plane. I'm like, great, I'm going to be sandwiched in between people. Well, I find my seat, time passes, and nobody sits next to me. And I just start praising baby Jesus. I'm like, oh my God, thank God that nobody is sitting next to me. I doze off on the plane. It was a smooth flight from North Carolina to Chicago, because I don't remember most of it. And then my layover is about 3.5 hours, and I just gotta find some way to kill time. I just started walking up and down the airport. I had barely any service, so I didn't really do much on my phone, and I'm so exhausted by this point. Finally the time comes when we're supposed to board the plane, and we're looking at the screen, and it says 5 minutes to board, and then 4 minutes, and then time goes out, and we're not on the plane yet. I'm like, what is going on? Sure enough, the same thing happened. The plane is at the terminal. The flight crew isn't because of weather. And I'm thinking, great, we gotta wait 3 more hours for these people to show up. Luckily, it was only about 40 minutes delayed. The flight crew shows up, get on the plane, and we're going. And we're not going anywhere. We're on this plane for 45 minutes before I realize the runway is so backed up that that's why we weren't flying yet, is because there were so many planes in front of us because of all the delays. Just like, oh, God. And that was StitchCon. I get home about noon. I'm dead tired. I am so dead by this point. But it was all, if I knew I had to go through that every year in order to go to StitchCon, I would do it. I would do it again in a heartbeat. Even if I could just do it one more day, I would go through that all again, because it really sucks that I'm not going to see most of these people for another year. Luckily I get to see Colette Kingsley in October. I get to see Mercy. I get to see Pam and Steph in October. I get to see some of these people that are going to be at Midwest. Whereas, people like McKenna or Abby, Lindy Stitches, I'm not going to be able to see some of these people for another year unless I go to Stitch Shenanigans in Arizona. McKenna, let's talk about that. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to see a lot of these people. And it hurts, because StitchCon was probably one of the best times of my life. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that, because I was just so happy. It was an odd happiness I had not felt in a very, very long time. And to be in a room full of people just with unconditional love for this hobby is just sort of, it's amazing. Without getting too dark, I don't know if a lot of these people who were there that watch me, or just any cross-stitchers in general, just don't realize that because of this hobby is why I'm still here. I mean, there was a very dark point in my life, and stitching got me through it. And to be in a community, in a group of a little under 400 people, all sharing this love for this hobby, life-changing. It was amazing. It was amazing. And so, did I meet $3.99? Well, hypothetically, if I would have gotten to everybody, I would have only gotten to about $3.78, give or take, because some people didn't show up. But no, I did not meet everybody. And I knew I wasn't going to meet everybody 20 people into the thing, because this is a big task. I think the final total was 185. So I got, I might have gotten about half of the people, which I think is still a great number, meeting half the people. Good Lord. But in hindsight, I did not have people sign my book at all Wednesday. And then there was times when I didn't have my book, when I was in the annex or at Keepsakes or just walking down the halls, and I met people who I didn't see prior to or after that didn't get to sign my book. So in all honesty, I think I met almost everybody at StitchCon. I just don't have their signature to prove it. So that was fun. It was great. A+. With some minor detail that I don't want to get into. A+ overall. Awesome. So, I would show you what I worked on, but I took Angel the New Dawn from Mirabilia and the Joan Crawford, Jesus. The Joan Elliott kit, Madonna and Child, but I did not put any stitches on Madonna and Child, and almost all the stitches that I put in on Angel the New Dawn, I had to rip out. So, I can't really show you that. So, I'm not going to show you what I got from the registration box, goodness gracious, from registration. I mean, I'll just show you the tote bag. But, go to basically anybody, they'll show you what they got. So, I got a lot of stuff from the freebie table, which is funny because I never personally took a single thing from the freebie table. I'm just going to go through some of the stuff that I got here. I don't remember who it was, but I got these poop sticky notes. I think those are funny. A lovely person, I don't remember who you are, I'm sorry, came up to me and gave me this gift of it's a bookmark, and it's a dragon, and I about cried because this was amazing. I don't think the person that gave me this stitched it, but somebody else stitched it, and then they gave it to me, and yeah, I about started crying because that was sweet. Didn't expect anything like that. Let's see. Shauna and Donna placed these pee pads on our table, so I had to take one just for the memories. Oh, hey, I did bring over my book. Let's actually take. Let's see. Um, 154. Okay, so it was a little bit less than I thought. I got this Passion Ricama Angeli blah 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 Guardian Angels. I didn't get this on the freebie table. Somebody just walked up to me and handed this to me. And like I said, I don't remember who. Now I remember who gave me this. Marion the librarian gave me this. It's like an little ort catcher. You just place your orts on there and they won't go nowhere. I love it. And there's a little needle minder here. Let's see if I can, or not a needle minder, but there's a little needle magnet. Right there. So, all right. So there's that. And then I had to pick. I think Donna Ray brought this, or Linda brought this. I had to make them give this to me because this features Arlene's design on the cover. Very excited about that. Somebody came up and handed me, like, all this stuff is from the freebie table. I was handed all of this. This Nora Corbett Christmas Eve Couriers, aka Santa Sleigh. Abby Top Knot Stitcher just came up and handed me this Teresa Wensler. This is Magical Night. Very excited about that. There was a lot of Teresa Wensler on that freebie table. Jen Upton approached me and she gave me this. It's just a DMC book full of just different angelic designs. Ooh, there's little ladybugs in here. So that's cool. A lovely person knows how much I like Dimensions kits, and she handed me this highly sought after Angel of Music just chart. And, you know, the chart itself is in perfect condition. I mean, it's a little, you know, worn from shelf wear, but it's just perfect. And she said if I ever get around to stitching it, think of her mother, and you know who you are. I will surely do that. I will. If you handed me this, please message me on Instagram because I want to have a good conversation with you. So there's that. Another Teresa Wensler. I have no idea who handed me this. Misty. It's one of the carousel horses. Yeah. Here's another Teresa Wensler. It's a tapestry cat. Ooh, yay. A cat. There's that. Once again, I don't know who handed me this, but, Elegant Angels. Now, Deb, you know who you are. Deb comes up to me, and she hands me this unopened full kit of, The English Garden Welcome by Teresa Wensler. And for this to be on the freebie table, it was just, wow. I couldn't believe it. So, I have that. Let's see. I got a project bag. I don't remember who it was that gave me this project bag. But this was technically my second project bag. And I'll show you the first last. So there's that one. Jen Lee thought this was perfect for me because there's beer bottle caps on there. And I'm like, yes, please. Backing fabric is just the, you know, the words of beer, ale, all that stuff. And then, so Jen Lee was stitching HL's Moth, and she had planned on putting the chart on the freebie table. And I'm like, well, I'll take it from you if you're just going to throw it on the freebie table. And she's like, okay. So she gave me not only HL's Moth, but this stunning project bag. And I started taking the chart out because I thought she had just, like, mistakenly given me the project bag as well. Nope. She'll me keep the project bag. Like, all right, cool. Now, Tammy, you know who you are. So I was messaged, or somebody commented, not somebody, specific somebody, Tammy, commented saying that she has some Teresa Wensler gifts that she wants to give me. And I'm like, okay. So, first up, the one thing she gave me was two things. First thing was Volume 1 of the Fantasy Collection from Teresa Wensler. I'm not going to flip through all of these like I did the last couple, but I'll just show you the back, and then you can see what's on there. And then she gave me this. And in this little holder is almost every Teresa Wensler design that you could find in magazines starting in the year 1989. And it's just chock full of magazine leaflets. Some that were released as, you know, cardstock leaflets, others that you would see, like I just was flipping through, and here's the English Garden Welcome. It's amazing that some of these designs were in magazines. They're, you know, and I wanted to cry because I was just so touched that you just gave these to me. And so, Tammy, you know who you are. I love you dearly, and I'm so glad I met you. So next, purchases. I have 5 purchases from the entire weekend, or from StitchCon. So let's start at Keepsakes. I got 2 things from Keepsakes. I got Angel of Mercy by Lavender and Lace. And then I saw Barbara Batt's Angels, and y'all know I'm a slut for Barbara Batt's and her Angels. And I don't remember if I got this one or not, so I'm gonna have to check. But Angel of Romance, and like I'm looking at it now, and I think I might have this already, but I had to get it because I wasn't sure, and I didn't want to not get it, not be sure. So there's that, and that's the only thing I picked up from Keepsakes. Then the Annex. I needed to get. I knew the line. People were waiting 2 hours in line to check out at the Annex. I'm like, nope, no time for that. When the Annex opened, sorry, I got a low battery notice. Thank God it wasn't like a out of storage. Anyway, I went in the Annex that the first opening. I had to like sniper everything that I needed, and so that when the line was dead, I could come back and just swoop. And so because I felt bad that I didn't have a Lindy Stitches design, because Stephanie guilted me into it. She didn't guilt me, I'm just giving her crap. Birds to the Bows. I love this design. I remember looking at her Etsy a couple of weeks prior to StitchCon and seeing that design, and that was the one that caught my eye, so I'm like, yes, I need to get that. And she wrote me a lovely note to Dale. I'm not Dale. But anyway. And then I didn't have anything from Arlene Cohen, so I felt bad, so I had to get Gossamer Lace and Cross Stitch, because look at it. How could you not? Just look at it. Works by ABC, Arlene Cohen. Oh, speaking of Arlene Cohen, watching her, I don't know if any of you have seen her bobbin lace before, but oh my Jesus. It's life-changing. It is truly life-changing. I could watch her bobbin lace for hours. And then finally, I can't believe I didn't have this yet. I feel bad, but Shakespeare's Peddler, A Savior's Praise. I mean, can you even? Because I sure as hell can't. the amount of evens that just can't be happening right now. But there were more evens that I couldn't a couple of days later. So, we're coming back. That's all my purchases from that entire, not including food, that's all I purchased at StitchCon. And I did great. That was great, right? So, let's do some haul that I got in the mail. One of these I got prior to leaving for StitchCon. And I'll just leave it at that. And this is a design I've been wanting for a hot minute. Heartstring Samplery, his eye is on the sparrow. I cannot wait to start this. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. I was very excited to get that in the mail. So now, friends, we've come to the point in the video that I had alluded to earlier, where I said that there was a huge surprise in store. Not necessarily for you, but for me. But also for you. I come home from StitchCon just dead by this point from the hustle and bustle of trying to get back home. I walk into my room and I see a package. Now, I had been contacted by a lovely woman, Audrey, saying that I want to send you a gift. I'm like, okay, cool. So when I saw the package, I saw the postage. I knew it was from her. I had not even an inkling of what was inside. And I didn't even suggest to myself that what was inside was actually what was inside. But as I'm starting to open the package, I get this weird sensation that I know what's inside. And I'm like, there is no way that what I think is inside is actually inside. And if any of you saw my Instagram story, I said that I had a big surprise in store. And underneath it I said, #no more unicorns. I open the package, and I find this staring me in the face. I was so emotionally drained by this point that it took me a full day to register that this was what was gifted to me, whereas some people are paying over $200, in some cases over $300, for this chart. And for somebody in their good graces just to gift this to me, this community is just so amazing that, you know, as highly sought after as this design is, for it just to be gifted, it's just amazing. I don't know when I'm going to stitch this, but the plans are, now that this is in my possession, after I finish Harriet Hartland, this, either Anne or Isabella, one of these will be my next focus sampler. I would maybe guess the end of next year, if not the year after. Both of these will be stitched. And then, I don't know. I really don't. But this really was the cherry on top of what could not have been. Flight problems aside, this was a cherry on top of what has to have been the greatest string of days that I have had in a very, very long time. And so, to all of you, now Brenda, I'm going to swear here in a little bit, so you can fast forward to the StitchCon clips if you want. So to all of you, wait, before I do that, Brenda, stay. Let me get into the giveaway. I am almost to 2,500 subscribers. I gained 400 in just 2 weeks, which I didn't expect to happen. Some people are not correctly following the rules for the giveaway. Remember that you need to listen, because some people aren't totally following the rules. You need to say, I would like such and such giveaway. Then you have to say, you know, an item that's special to me is this because, or I was introduced to Flosstube by this person and I like them because, or what was my other one? This is my favorite designer because. There's a lot of people that are just saying, I would like this, I would like the clay by Kim, and this is the item that's special to me. But they're not saying why. The reason I make you do the work is so you're rewarded for the work. If you're just kind of just half-assing it, you're not going to get rewarded for it. So if you enter in my giveaway, go back and make sure you entered it correctly, because I'm not gonna tell you if you entered it correctly or not, because that just shows you didn't listen. Just go back. You can edit your comments, people. You can edit your comments. I will not draw for another, let's see, July 22nd is when I draw. So there you go. So to all of you, keep being amazing. Let those fucks fly. And for the love of Jesus, say no to acid. I don't have time for this crap anymore. Just don't do it. Alright? Alright. Now what you should see are just the few pictures that I took. I did not take a lot of pictures. I originally wanted to start doing a vlog type style for this, but I stopped doing that after the second day because I just was not attached to my phone. I was living in the moment. So, I did get a couple of clips. I got a clip of the brag table. You'll see the entire brag table. You'll see me handing Jan Hicks chocolate. And you should see some of the photos that I got, which isn't a lot. And I'm not going to go searching for photos that I was tagged in. So, anywho. And if you want to see the video of me meeting Stephanie for the first time, follow Jan Hicks on Instagram, or watch her video. I think she had it in her video. I don't remember. Anyway, goodbye, everybody. I love you dearly. StitchCon Day 1. This is Jan Hicks, everybody. Now, there's a story to what's about to happen. Sometime last year, I realized I've been missing out on watching Jan Hicks's videos, and the moment I started watching her, I had to metaphorically beat myself because I can't believe I've been missing out. And she said the only way to repay her was dark chocolate. Jan Hicks, this is for you. And I hope
masterpieces.
And I hope you have forgiven me by this point.
Over and over. Dark chocolate with velvety dark chocolate filling.
Yes.
This isn't going to last long.
Only the best for you.
Thank you.
Get love, give love. Or did I have that backwards? Was it give love,
give love, get love?
Okay.
Give the love first and it'll return thousandfold.
And find your joy, people.
Find your joy.
All right.
That's right.
Signing out.
Thanks. I don't know if you got me.
people realize.
Alright, here we are at the braid table. I'll take you through it. StitchCon Day 2. It is approximately 8:21. I'm feeling great. That was cute. Who did that? Oh, of course, Candy did it. You see, this was not here yesterday. Who did this one? Kimberly Butler. Oh, I like that. That was cute. Kimberly's such cute stuff. That's cute.
You have the same idea.
Hope I'm not in the way, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
I love this. Doesn't say who stitched it though. I don't even know. If somebody knows who did this, tell me. Or what that design is. Because I want to. Look how cute this one is. Oh my heavens. Oh, I love this. Love. Oh, this is cute. I saw Jesus in there, so I just like it. Cute baby. This one. Watch for a special announcement coming soon. Oh no. Too many reproduction samplers to stitch. That was funny. My phone's recognizing that as a face. Which one's this one? This one is Rose Quaker. Okay. Love it. Gypsy Queen, who stitched this one? Marissa. That's right. I love this one. Love it. Here's that one. I remember this one. Not for any particular reason, but I love this one. Love it.
I feel like I'm not up to par with everybody.
I know this is just like a work in progress right now, but it is stunning to see up close.
We started about and yours is on 2 months on 36.
Hope I'm not going too fast. So I took my time. 400 people's finishes. It would take 5 hours to get through everybody.
And this opened up at 8 this morning.
There's stuff in here. Oh, it's so cute.
I never stayed. I was like,
These are finished by Ryan. Wild Violet Cross Stitch.
So do you know
Met her today, or yesterday, or the day before. I don't remember. I'm tired.
Yes.
Carolina to Donna Ray. Yeah, she does that great.
Off the graphic, she does.
Oh, this one. What is this design? Oh, of course, there's no name tag.
I think I watched her. Carolina's such a.
No, I'm not allowed to touch this. There's so much stuff. Okay. Let's finish this. I don't want to go through all that. Sorry, Mary.
Pam did that. That's Pam's. That was Pam's.
Oh my God. Isn't that beautiful?
But she did that.
Love this one. This is shit.
Thank you very much. If you find that scary, look us up. Did you put your name on that? Oh, look at Porky. Oh, doesn't see it yet.
Oh my gosh, I'm in the way. I'm sorry.
Oh, you were not in the way.
Look at the little tiger.
Here's the next big table. Of course, Jen Upton's. Those are her designs. Harbor Haven. Oh my gosh. Who stitched this one? Because it's not. Millie's Needle Nest. Because I was like, oh, I don't remember Jan bringing it. But it's not Jan's. Gosh, it's just amazing. And here's Christmas Eve. Oh. And here's all of Brenda Handwork Maniac stuff. I just, God, she's just, her stuff is just great. And here's her shadowing, and I crap like pens yesterday. Oh my God, this one, which one is this? Medieval Town. I about crap my pants when I was on this one. Alright, here's the murals. Zelda. Here's another Miss Christmas Eve. These are Rika's designs, or stitches. Somebody tell me the name of this one. There's no name tag for this one, and I love it. Whitey. I'm surprised there's not. That's the only long dog sample right there. It's surprising. And then we're on to mine. There's Hannah. Not fully finished, but recently finished. And all her wrinkled glory. There's Fairy Moon. This one's awesome one. And a Rose of Sharon. So happy to show them off finally to people. Not iron. Wrinkled as hell, but I love them. This one. Which Polly Coffin Sampler. Love it. Linda Walsh. Oh, this one. This was stitched on 18 count. This was the first gen Pokemon pattern. I thought this was going to be bigger, but she stitched it on 18 count, so that might be why it's smaller than I expected. Now this one, I've never seen this stitched in person before. It's like a hell of a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. She's beautiful. And we're coming to the end of the brown tail. StitchCon Day 2. Over and out.